Hello, everybody. It's Holger Müller here from Constellation Research, here to speak about something which I want to record since quite a while, so finally got around with it. And this is the always lingering, kind of like omnipresent conversation of LLMs, large language models, versus VSLMs, very small language models. Now, first of all, let me preface this. In a world of ever-growing CPU, GPU, tell me whatever hunger with energy needs, which we don't know where to, we can meet them with nuclear power plants being reactivated. More frugal system resources is always better. It's always nicer. There's no question about it. However, this discussion has been going on since a long time, and I want to get my opinion out to this, which is that large language models always win. There's only one area where large language models don't win, is if that large language model cannot run on the device. A 32 billion parameter model will likely not run on a 1024 megabyte system, which is put on a satellite which is flying to the end of the universe, wherever, right? So that's clear. But if the platform can access, if the platform can reach a large language model, it will always win over a small language model, because we know it's challenging to figure out what is the intent and what are the right small language models to answer something, which is really, really hard, which is all baked into one single large language model. So you kind of like get that automatically out of the box, courtesy of the transformer algorithm, which is the background to all the large language models running. Now, the interesting thing which you could hear all the time is that the argument, and we heard much less in the second half or first half, even like the second, third quarter of 2025, about very small language models. You only hear the story of very small language models from the people who do not have the ability, do not have the capacity, do not have the budget to build large language models. And then it's kind of like self-serving, right? So the vendors who hear this, they're out there. I don't need to mention them, but it's always the vendors who, like I said, don't have the capacity, don't have the budget, don't have the appetite to build a large language model, which encompasses ideally everything as much as they have available in their data. The main reason, like I mentioned, is like the pre-selector, right? Theoretically, we can think of, I have lots of specialized little language models, and I have a super smart selector who's constantly rerouting based on the user's intent where to go language model-wise. But that is complicated. That is so complicated that when OpenAI, I believe it was ChatGPT 5, was shipping that and had a pre-selector, that pre-selector did not scale, did not understand the content. The first days were not as great as people would like them to have, because there's a lot of intelligence in that pre-selector. If I make the world flat, if I put everything into a large language model, then of course that is done for free. Now, of course, the large language model has to be accessible, right? I mentioned that in the intro, right? On the satellite, flying to the edge of the universe, not relevant. That large language model has to be affordable, right? Affordable at the training point for building it, and affordable from a runtime part. Let's quickly dive into that. Affordable from the training point, we live in the bonanza, in the heydays, in the gold rush of AI. People are paying for this, thinking there's no tomorrow. So the training side is not so much of a problem. The inference side could be a problem, theoretically. We're not really there yet, of lots and lots of people using inference, right? It's still training, which is burning more GPUs, whatever you want to say, or using them more than any of the inference is doing. This could change, might change at a certain time. So if the large language model is affordable, both from a training and from one perspective, it will always beat that. It has to be better. Right? There's no need to run something big and large if it is not better than the small thing, right? This was the big awakening moment when we heard about DeepSeek, right? But DeepSeek sits on the shoulders of a large language model. So it's exactly that reason. I can build fantastic things on top of a large language model. I can't build so great things on a very small language model or a small language model, whatever you want to call them, especially if they don't have the answer. All right, here's my opinion to this. Would love to hear yours. Please share it. This is on social media for a reason. Be social. Let me know what you think and what you agree with, or even more important, you don't agree with. Thanks for watching.